Hey guys, it's Jessica. Today I am going to give you my immediate reaction to the Goodreads Choice Award nominees. I have been very carefully not looking at these, so I don't know any of them. I'm not spoiled. I know it's a popularity contest, but I still get excited every single year to be able to go through them and add some things to my TBR. So I have my computer right here. And it is early in the morning before I go into work, and I'm just gonna try to get all the way through this and hopefully not have to do a lot of editing so I can get it up. So here we go. All right, here we go. Let's make my screen big, okay. Let's go into the Goodreads Choice Awards. I don't have any particular feelings about what I think is gonna be here. I have not even thought about it, so let us see. Okay, so we're gonna start, we'll just like click all the way through. We'll start with fiction. I don't read a lot of general fiction, but sometimes. Let's see what we have. All right, Sandwich. I have heard of this one. Wedding People. I know that was a book of the month selection. I know a lot of people have read it. That one actually is on my TBR, but am I ever actually gonna get around to it? Maybe. I Hope This Finds You Well. That's one I actually am really interested in. It's about accidentally getting access to everyone's emails and DMs at your corporate job. I don't have a corporate job, but it feels relatable. Ellen Hilderbrand, her, I think last book in this series is up. I don't really read her stuff, so. Then we've got Richard Powers. I haven't read that. I haven't heard of that. Welcome to the Hunam Dong Bookshop. Probably said that wrong. So this one is a translated from a Korean book that I think is cozy, and I've heard doesn't have a lot of plot, so I don't know if I'm really interested in that one. There's this one that has that cover. It's a choice. Martyr, which I haven't heard of. And then next row, we've got the new Sally Rooney, of course. The new Sally Rooney, haven't read it yet. Colored Television, no. Margot's Got Money Troubles, I know a lot of people read that, but I don't know that much about it. And then the new Leanne Moriarty, which I have not read, even though I do like her books, because I think it has a little bit of maybe like a magical realism situation, and I wasn't into that from her. Wandering Stars, I've just seen the cover, same as it ever was, just seen the cover, but I've heard good things. New Louise Erdrich. She's a good writer. I haven't read this one. So we're not doing good so far. So far I've read nothing. Blue Sisters, that just came out. The Dolly Alderton. I think this is a short story collection. No, it says a novel. I'm wrong. Miranda July. The Real Americans. That's one I am planning to read. And I have not gotten around to yet. Tell Me Everything. Yeah, so far we are 0 books that I have read. But at least maybe 3, I think. Wedding People, Hope This Finds You Well, and The Real Americans. Those are all books that I'm planning to read. So if there's anything else in there you think I should read to consider for my, well, I'm not gonna vote if I don't read anything in this one, let me know. Let's go to historical fiction where I expect to find nothing. So we'll go through this pretty quickly. I'll tell you if there's any that I was thinking about reading. James, yes, I am going to read James. I have it on my TBR to read soon. Maybe I will move it up and try to read it before the end of the voting for this so that I can try to give my opinion. The Women by Kristen Hanna, I have not read. So I like Kristen Hanna, but I feel like all of her books are so sad that I don't know if I want to read this one. And I've heard more mixed things from this than I think I've heard from some of her others, but I also would not be surprised at all if it wins because people love Kristen Hanna. We've got the new Sylvia Moreno Garcia. I do want to read that, but I haven't heard that much about it yet, so I've been kind of waiting. I know it's about the film industry. Let's see. The Briar Club, I started that, didn't finish it, but I was really enjoying it, so I just DNF'd it because I wasn't in the mood for historical fiction, but I do need to get back to that and finish it because it was a really good book, the part that I read. I don't really read Jodi Picoult. I know I was interested in reading The Frozen River. I don't remember what it's about. Okay, so none that I've actually read, but a few that are on my TBR for historical fiction. Moving on to mystery thriller, I may have actually read some of these. Let's hope. I don't read a lot of thrillers. I feel like also I'm not going to recognize any of these because I think every thriller has like the same cover and I don't know what they are. So first row, don't know what any of these are. I've at least seen a couple of them. Second row, God of the Woods was a 5-star book for me. That's just probably going to be my pick for this, I would guess. I love it. If you haven't read it, go ahead. Frida McFadden, not my thing, but also very popular. And Listen for the Lie, I want to read that one. And then let's see, Home is Where the Bodies Are. I started, didn't finish. We Solve Murders is another 5-star book for me. I think it's really funny, but I do think I like The God of the Woods slightly better, so I'm more likely to vote for that. That's kind of tragic. Those are both in the same category because they are not like each other at all. I might even put God of the Woods in literary fiction. Let's see, the new Maid novel, haven't read. How to Solve Your Own Murder, I do want to read, but I have not read. And then down here we have the Riley Sager that I haven't read yet. I haven't heard good things. And we have this All the Colors of the Dark, which I really want to read, so I need to get on that one soon. And another Frida McFadden. How many Frida McFaddens are on here? Okay, 2. That's too many. That's too many. Her books are very formulaic. Okay, so moving on to romance. Might have read some of these, probably. Okay, so I have read Bride, which I liked, but would not vote for here. Funny Story, 5 stars. Love Funny Story. Would not be surprised if that wins because it's Emily Henry. Have I read any of the others? No. I was interested in reading The Love of My Afterlife, but then I heard the characters were annoying, so I didn't. I haven't read this Allie Hazelwood because it's supposed to be super spicy, and that is not my thing. And then I haven't read that Abby Jimenez or the new Catherine Center, which I kind of want to read, but I heard a lot of people complaining about the male main character, that they couldn't get over his early in the book behavior, and I don't know if I'm into that. And then I haven't read The Pairing because I didn't like Casey McQuiston's last book, like, at all, so I'm probably not going to be reading that one. So my pick for this is going to be Funny Story, I think, and it may win the whole thing, although this Abby Jimenez is also super popular, and of course everybody's reading these. I don't remember what the name of the series is, the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore, whatever. Those seem very popular too. Okay, Romantasy. Will I have read any of these? I kind of doubt it. I don't read a lot of Romantasy. Ooh, The Veiled Kingdom has a cool cover though, but I've never heard of it. I've seen some people read When the Moon Hatched. I don't feel like it's one that I am probably going to want to read. The Spell Shop I am planning to read because first I was like, I don't want to read it because I don't know how into cozy fantasy I am right now. Sometimes it's formulaic, but then right now I am feeling like I'm into cozy fantasy. So I do think I'm going to read The Spell Shop. Let's see. I decided not to read A Dark and Drowning Tide because I saw some reviews that weren't great. What else? The Honey Witch I'm probably not going to read because it didn't appeal to me and I heard some meh things. I don't read Sarah J. Maas, generally. And I haven't read any of the rest of these. I thought about reading Feybound. I still might. But if there's any others in here that you think I should read, let me know. I generally don't read a lot of Romantasy, but I am willing to read some Romantasy, so let me know. Fantasy. Okay, so this is one of the ones I'm excited about. Let's see what we have. Okay. This is going to be like really hard for me. Okay, so The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett is one of my favorite books of the year. 5 stars. Definitely needs to be in there. Very excited that that's in there because I don't feel like it's maybe as popular as some. I wouldn't vote for this TJ Klune because I thought it was fine, but it didn't need to exist. That book did not need a sequel. The Familiar I thought was also, I gave it 4 stars, but I have like not thought about it one time since, so maybe that's not going to be one that I'm going to vote for, although I thought it was fine. Let's see. One Among Crows, that was 3 stars for me. The Lost Story I actively disliked, and I think I gave it 2 stars, which was generous. I really didn't like the last half of the book, so that one's a no. I DNF'd the Dead Cattail Assassins. I didn't care about any of the characters, but I thought it was fine. And I do like the author, P.J. Leclerc. A Sorceress Comes to Call was also a 5-star book for me by T. Kingfisher. Did I like it as much as The Tainted Cup? I feel like I didn't because The Tainted Cup was so different, but they're both great books. I haven't read The Foxwife or The New Love Grossman. It is so long, and I don't know if I care enough about Arthurian legends to read a book that long about them. I haven't read The Book of Doors. I did give 5 stars to Map of the Otherlands, but it's a sequel, so I wouldn't vote for it for this just because it's a sequel, but it's really great. An Academy for Liars, I didn't care for. 5 Broken Blades, I don't know, I feel like that's one of those books that just had like a pretty edition, and I haven't heard anybody actually talk about the book. Voyage of the Damned, I started and I thought the main character's voice was so insufferable that I DNF'd it immediately. Like no, that's a no for me. Although it's got such a pretty cover again. What else? I haven't read this one, The Night Ends with Fire. It looks good. I haven't seen any reviews yet. A Sweet Sitting of Salt has a creepy cover, I think. I don't know what's going on with that cover. It makes me uncomfortable and I kind of want to read it. The Warm Hands of Ghosts I read, I gave a 3.5 star. I thought it was good, but I wouldn't vote for it. So I'm probably still here at The Tainted Cup or A Sorceress Comes to Call, but probably The Tainted Cup, which I'm sure is not going to win, but I would like it to win. So, all right. That's actually a pretty good selection for fantasy. I feel like last year when they moved romantasy to its own category, it really improved the fantasy category on the Goodreads Choice Awards. All right, let's look at science fiction. Let's see. So science fiction, will I have read any of these? Yeah, probably. Okay, yes. Okay. I haven't read any of the Jeff Vandermeer books. No opinion. I started The Other Valley, but then didn't continue. I really didn't like The Mercy of the Gods. Even though I love The Expanse, I thought this book was just very meh, and I didn't care about any of the characters, so that one's not for me. Service Model, I gave 5 stars to. I loved it. It was funny. It was philosophical. One of my favorite books of the year, so glad to see it there because I didn't feel like it got that much hype. The Ministry of Time, I really didn't like The Ministry of Time, and I feel like it's gotten a lot of hype. And a lot of people who don't usually read sci-fi have loved it because it's kind of a romance. But the romance made me super uncomfortable because it's with like a real dead person, and I didn't like that. So no. Orbital I haven't read. I haven't read the new Jasper Fforde, although I do love Jasper Fforde. The Stardust Grail was just okay for me, although I really enjoy the author's writing, but that one didn't connect with me all the way. I didn't feel like. Let's see. I haven't read these first 3 books. I did read An Ascension. Well, no, I DNF'd it because it was very dense, but I would go back and try again. And then we have, I haven't read any of these books or heard of some of them. And then I am definitely not reading another John Mars book. No, thank you. And then I haven't read any of these others. So for me, it's going to be Service Model, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to win. It's probably going to be Ministry of Time, which I don't even really think is a sci-fi book. I think it like has no science in it, but it's popular, so whatever. Okay, moving on to horror. I've probably read some of these. We Used to Live Here. That was 4 stars for me. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really clever. What Feasts at Night by T. Kingfisher, 5 stars for me. It's a sequel though. Like, I don't know if I would vote for it just because it's a sequel. Down here, I haven't read any of these. I do want to read Incidents Around the House, although I haven't liked any of Josh Mellerman's other books other than Bird Box, which I did like. And all the rest of them I've read have been very for me, but maybe this one because I see a lot of stuff about it. I don't like Rachel Harrison's books. She is not for me. There is just, it's just, she's not my thing. I do want to read The Bog Wife. I do want to read My Darling Dreadful Thing. Have not yet. And I don't know if Stephen Graham Jones is for me exactly, but I might read that one. We'll see. I've heard mixed things. I'm not reading that Eyeball book, no. I would like to read the Stephen King short story collection here, You Like It Darker. Stephen King is always good, I feel like. And then I want to read Bury Your Gaze, but I think I want to audiobook it, which is why I didn't get to it this season because I didn't have time for an audiobook. Then I started Murder Road by Simone St. James and thought it was very, very meh. And I do like Simone St. James, but I question the decision to put that in horror because I didn't have the impression that that was going to be a scary book, but okay. Okay, debut novel. Let's see. What have I read any of these? Okay, so I want to read this, The Truth According to Ember. I think it looks like it's going to be really cute. That's a romance novel. I read The Ministry of Time. We know how I feel about that. We Used to Live Here. Yes. I could get behind voting for that. And then other than that, I don't think that I have read any of the rest of these. No. Well, except for Voyage of the Damned, which, as I said, I didn't like. Okay, so let's look at audiobook. I will not have done any of these on audiobook, so let's just scroll through it and see if there's anything that I feel like I would like to read on audio. I mean, I don't know. Are any of these good audiobooks? I don't know. And I'm so picky about audiobooks. If they are like, if there's something weird about the narrator, I will not like them. Moving on to young adult fantasy. Probably read a couple of these. Let's see. Maybe. I want to read this series, the Where the Library Hides, whatever the first one was. I want to read that. I Hated Powerless, so that's a no. I haven't read the Brandon Sanders, this series. I haven't read it yet. And I did read Where the Dark Stands Still, and I thought it was good. I thought it was good enough that I would vote for it, even though I haven't read everything. Oh, my unpopular opinion is that I loved Divine Rivals, but I thought that Ruthless Vows was kind of bad. It was one of my most anticipated books, and I just thought it was very Didn't need to exist. We should have just made it one book and made it longer. I didn't like it. So that's not it for me. Ooh. And Air, which is one of my 5-star reads of the year. So it's probably going to be that one for me. It is set in the Ashes and the Embers universe. I saw someone being upset that they felt like it spoiled that quartet if you haven't read them. So your mileage may vary. I didn't think they were super spoilery, but yeah, with where the characters end up probably. So young adult fiction, I have probably not read any of these. No, I want to read the Maureen Johnson, and I want to read that Limb Painter. I haven't read any Limb Painter. That's a sequel. I want to read the first one. Well, I did read Heartstopper Volume 5, and I actually have another unpopular opinion there, which is that I do like Heartstopper, but I thought that Volume 5 was super phoned in and, like, just did not do it for me. I don't know. I'm waiting for Volume 6 to find out my judgment. Where Sleeping Girls Lie, I want to read. Haven't read it yet. The Reappearance of Rachel Price. I've heard things on that, so I don't know if I want to read that or not. There's a couple that have interesting covers here, but young adult stuff, I need a recommendation before I'm gonna really go for that. Nonfiction, I haven't read any, hardly at all this whole year. So if you have any of these that you think are great that I should read, I was thinking about reading The Message, but I have not yet. I haven't read any of the rest of those. So I will go back and look at those later, pick some to read. Memoir, again, I don't think that I've read any of these. No, although I do love memoir. History, see, we get into the categories that I haven't read. Because I'm not really like a nonfiction girl, but I do want to be informed. I want to read things, but I have a hard time getting through nonfiction sometimes. I am reading Challenger right now. So there we go. So I am reading that, so I gotta finish that up so I can see if I want to vote for it. And it looks like that's the end. I forgot they don't have the children's category anymore. And yeah, I actually think that the sci-fi and fantasy categories were pretty good this year. I've read more books than I thought I would have. I read 0 books in general fiction, which is again probably not surprising because I don't read a lot of general fiction. If there's anything that you're excited to vote about, let me know down in the comments, and I will see y'all in the next video. Goodbye.